Former CMLL Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer makes her WWE in-ring debut just days after she signed with the company last night in Mexico City, Mexico. All of the details and footage from that, plus Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE Championship is set for SummerSlam, and also plans on Roman Reigns to return to WWE TV by the biggest event of the summer. LA Knight versus Logan Paul seemingly is also set for SummerSlam for the United States Championship. Willow Nightingale, yes, the AEW star, has won the CMLL World Women's Championship, vacated by Vaquer this week after her signing with WWE. FTR returned to AEW television last night on Collision. The Trios Championships have been vacated by EVP Christopher Daniels on the show. Details on Survivor Series location this year set for Inglewood, California. We got details on Raw and NXT reportedly airing on Sci-Fi during the Olympics, and why has Damon Kemp's release from WWE led to nervousness in the NXT locker room? Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Stephanie Vaquer making her WWE in-ring debut last night in Mexico, just days after signing with the company. Former New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer made her WWE in-ring debut last night on July 13 at a live event in Mexico City, Mexico. Despite only announcing the news that she signed just a few days ago, Vaquer has already worked her first WWE match under her current contract. At last night's live event, Vaquer picked up the victory in a singles match against Isla Dawn. WWE had announced that Vaquer would be appearing at the show, but hadn't specified that she would be wrestling. Now, actually, we've got footage from her debut last night in Mexico City.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome WWE's newest superstar, Stephanie Vaquer!
say it in Spanish, so I don't understand.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think it's Vaquer, and they say Vaquer. Uno, dos, oh.
Yeah, take the hair.
Oh.
Oh
Ah,
my god.
okay.
I want to shoot one. I don't understand what
They say either her first name or her last. Like I said, they know her because she's from here, but I don't know her, so I don't know what they say.
So Stephanie Vaquer victorious in her WWE in-ring debut last night. Now Vaquer reportedly had contract offers from both AEW and WWE off the back of her performance at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view with AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, but opted to sign with WWE. Although last night's show was a main roster live event, Vaquer is expected to start her WWE career in NXT. So what are your thoughts on the in-ring debut of Vaquer with the footage you saw there? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, that is now set for SummerSlam. Moments after DIY retained their newly won tag team titles on SmackDown, they were decimated by, yes, the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu, as were their opponents Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Fatu took out Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa with an impressive array of moves, a rampage that signaled that Solo Sikoa and the rest of the new bloodline were on their way to the ring. Sikoa was immediately met with "We Want Raymond" chants that only grew louder when he demanded that the fans acknowledge him. Sikoa claimed that if Reigns returns, Reigns will also acknowledge Sikoa. He then turned his attention to the undisputed WWE champion, saying, "It's Cody Rhodes' turn to acknowledge me." Before Sikoa could finish asking Rhodes to come out, Kingdom began to play. Rhodes ultimately agreed to give Sikoa a title match at SummerSlam and told the head of the table that if it were up to him, the match would happen then and there. The new bloodline circled him, but the champion didn't back down and threw punches at each member. He set up Sikoa for crossroads, but ate a super kick from Fatu before he could deliver it. As Rhodes was getting beat down, Randy Orton came out to help. He gave Sikoa an RKO over the second rope, but Rhodes' arms were tied in the ropes and he was forced to watch Orton take multiple super kicks. Sikoa made sure Rhodes couldn't escape while the other three powerbombed Orton through the announce desk. Rhodes then took a Samoan spike. The new bloodline raised their fingers in the air, standing in front of Rhodes and over Orton's broken body. So that is now set for SummerSlam. As far as other matches being set for the show, SummerSlam of course is just a few weeks away and the card continues to come together on television. Now, Dave Meltzer reported on how things are currently set to unfold in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Meltzer has indicated there are currently 8 matches that are either already announced or expected to be shortly. Now, 2 of these were effectively confirmed after the events of the King and Queen of the Ring event back in May, with Gunther and Nia Jax winning the respective men's and women's tournaments to earn shots at the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Women's Championship. Gunther versus Damian Priest and Nia Jax versus Bayley, of course, is now going to be joined by Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE Championship. Of course, this was reported by Meltzer before it was made official Friday night on SmackDown. Additionally, there will be a United States Championship match, which we'll talk about in just a second. Bron Breakker reportedly is due to challenge Sami Zayn once again for the Intercontinental Championship after losing to Zayn at Money in the Bank. Meltzer recognized the recent insertion of Ilya Dragunov into that storyline, but as of this recording, it's still set possibly to be a one-on-one match, but it still could become a triple threat down the line. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley is set to return from injury to challenge Liv Morgan for for the WWE Women's World Championship. She never lost, assuming Ripley is cleared for SummerSlam weekend. Meltzer noted that it was strongly expected and the match will almost certainly take place. Meltzer also speculated that SummerSlam could be the battleground for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre to finally square off, though it will ultimately depend on Punk's return timeline, and there remain questions over whether or not Seth Rollins will be joining the action, given his own proximity to the feud. Closing out his notes on SummerSlam, Meltzer said there had been talk of a Women's Tag Team Championship match to be held that weekend, which may or may not fall during the PLE, and will likely see Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defend against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and or Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and or Damage Control. Now, speaking of SummerSlam, that could be the location, the destination for Roman Reigns to return to WWE TV. A big update has emerged on plans for Roman Reigns' WWE return. Reigns, of course, hasn't appeared for WWE since dropping his undisputed WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes at the April 7 WrestleMania 40 weekend show. With Solo Sikoa taking over the bloodline during Reigns' absence, there's been a lot of speculation about just when the Tribal Chief, or I guess former Tribal Chief, will return. Per PW Insider, Roman Reigns is expected by multiple sources to be back by SummerSlam. PW Insider specifically reports that at one point Reigns was planned to be back 2 to 3 weeks before SummerSlam rather than actually making his return at SummerSlam itself. Of course, this year's SummerSlam Premium Live event will emanate from the Cleveland Browns Stadium on August 3rd, meaning that Reigns is expected to return within the next 3 weeks. Now, of course, we do know that Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes is now set for SummerSlam, so how Roman Reigns is going to factor into that, we'll have to wait and see. But what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen when it comes to Roman Reigns' return to WWE TV? Now, speaking of SummerSlam 2, we look like we're going to be getting a United States Championship match on the show. On SmackDown, in a backstage segment, LA Knight was seen leaving Nick Aldis' office, and when he next appeared, he was talking in the ring with a folder. Showing film from his qualifying match ahead of Money in the Bank, he reminded everyone that he actually pinned Logan Paul in a three-way match a couple of weeks ago. He would go on to reveal that he had a contract for a United States Championship match at SummerSlam presented to him by Aldis. LA Knight then went on to sign it in the ring. However, he did note that while he and Aldis have signed it, the edgelord Logan Paul has yet to sign. Knight invited him to come out to sign it right away, but Paul wasn't even at SmackDown. But it looks like this match will be taking place for the US title in Logan Paul's hometown. Now, I spoke earlier on about Stephanie Vaquer. Of course, she was the former CMLL World Women's Champion before she vacated the title, signing with WWE in the process. We now have a new champion, and she's from AEW. Less than 2 months since she lost the AEW TBS Championship to Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing 2024, Willow Nightingale finds herself holding gold once again, though it's gold that belongs to another promotion. On Saturday, Nightingale defeated Viva Van and Luvia at a crossover show between New Japan and CMLL to win the CMLL World Women's Championship. The result is notable due to the circumstances surrounding the title's previously vacated status. On Wednesday, CMLL announced they had stripped Stephanie Vaquer of her CMLL World Women's and World Women's Tag Team Championships as she was leaving both CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling. She had already lost the New Japan Strong Women's Championship to Moné at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view a few weeks ago. That match reportedly caught the eye of Vaquer's new employer WWE, with Vaquer unable to compete at Fantastica Mania due to newfound WWE obligations. A new match for Saturday was announced involving all three women. Many fans actually expected Luvia to win. She's the only openly signed CMLL talent of the three and was Vaquer's original Fantastica Mania opponent, but indeed, the person that was added to the match late on by AEW, CMLL, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, Willow Nightingale, carried the day, making her the first woman to hold titles in AEW, New Japan, and CMLL. So certainly a lot of history being made by Willow Nightingale. Now, FTR, they are back on AEW television when Dax Harwood announced that two-time AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR would be off TV for a while back in June. Few expected that they would be back only a month later. Yet, on Saturday's episode of AEW Collision, FTR returns, storming to the ring to fight off the remnants of the Don Callis family. Collision opened with a match between the Don Callis family's Konosuke Takeshita and the Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington. After Takeshita won, Callis, who had been on commentary, hit the ring and offered Billington a spot in his family. Billington refused and put his hands on Callis, which led to Takeshita attacking him from behind. Callis briefly joined Takeshita in stomping the prone Billington before waving towards the back, summoning fellow family member Kyle Fletcher. As Takeshita and Fletcher continued the beatdown, FTR's music hit, and Howard and Cash Wheeler ran down to the ring to make the save for Billington. Now, on June 10, Howard claimed that he had suffered a severe hematoma on his lower back at AEW's Dynasty pay-per-view in April, a condition he didn't fully disclose to the promotion's medical staff, which led to things worsening. There was also a report that Howard suffered a concussion in the Dynasty match as well. With Howard apparently ready to return, Saturday's segment presumably set up a feud between FTR and the team of Takeshita and Fletcher, who are currently the last two members of the faction left standing because there have been some injuries, which we'll talk about later on, as well as the suspension of Sammy Guevara too. Certainly a lot of members missing from the Don Callis family. And last night we saw the trios titles vacated by the AEW interim EVP Christopher Daniels. After the Bang Bang Gang, currently comprised of Juice Robinson, Colton Gunn and Austin Gunn with Jay White absent, beat a trio of Calgary talent, they were in the ring celebrating before they were interrupted by Christopher Daniels. Daniels would inform them that the trio would be stripped of their championship as the original winners were the Guns and Jay White, and they couldn't simply substitute Robinson into White's spot. They would then be joined by the Patriarchy, with Christian Cage noting that he, Nick Wayne and Killswitch should be anointed the new champions. Instead, Daniels suggested a match, the Patriarchy versus this version of the Bang Bang Gang, to determine the brand new AEW World Trios champions. Cage would decline the Bang Bang Gang's suggestion of doing the match right here and right now in Calgary, instead deferring to a currently unnamed future date. Now, the Bang Bang Gang was previously the Unified Trios Tag Team Champions after capturing the AEW World Trios Championships, as well as the Ring of Honor six-man tag team titles too. The group carried a third belt as well, the pink customized AEW Trios title that was introduced when the Acclaimed were champions, but it's not actually a separate championship. Now, Survivor Series. Survivor Series, this is quite interesting. Could be coming to a brand new location. WWE Survivor Series has long been an annual tradition for the company, with the War Game stipulation becoming an important part of the event in recent years. 2024 edition has yet to be announced, but that could soon change, with an exciting location in play. Social media account WrestleVotes, who has previously leaked information regarding WWE, states that the company is considering the newly built Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California, as the venue for this year's Survivor Series. Right now, the company reportedly has Saturday, November 30 earmarked for the show, but that could always change. The Intuit Dome is directly across from SoFi Stadium, which previously hosted WrestleMania 39 back in 2023. The new venue is smaller, with an estimated capacity of 18,000. In addition to serving as the soon-to-be home of the LA Clippers NBA team, the arena will host concerts from a wide range of artists. The first event at the Intuit Dome, a Bruno Mars concert, will take place in just over a month. Survivor Series typically takes place each November, with last year's events held at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. The show concluded with the reintroduction of two major stars as Randy Orton returned from a back injury that kept him out of action for close to 18 months, while CM Punk made his WWE return after close to a decade. That gives this year's Survivor Series a lot to live up to. While WWE is yet to confirm the return of War Games, the special match type has been a part of the event each year since 2022, making a return pretty likely. Now, the Olympics are this summer. That means things are going to be reshuffled when it comes to Raw and NXT. While companies like WWE and AEW always compete with major sports airing throughout the week, 2024 is one of the biggest years for sports in recent memory. On top of the likes of the NFL, the NBA, NHL and MLB airing their seasons, events such as the European Championships, the Copa America tournaments, the latter of which has been hosted in the United States, have occupied people's viewing schedules. And the upcoming Olympic Games in Paris, in France, is set to disrupt wrestling fans' viewing habits in the same way that the Winter Games in Beijing did in 2022. The 2024 Summer Games begins on July 26 and will air across a number of NBC Universal stations until the closing ceremony on August 11. What this means for WWE in particular is that two of their weekly shows will be forced to find new homes for 2 weeks. According to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, both Raw and NXT will air on Sci-Fi while the Olympic Games takes place, as the USA Network will be dominated by Olympic coverage. The shows in question are the July 29 and August 6 episodes of Raw and the July 30 and August 7 episodes of NXT, with SmackDown being unaffected on Fox. Fans will have to get used to watching WWE programming on different networks over the next few months, given the fact that all 3 of WWE's main roster TV shows will finish up their respective current media rights deals. In October, NXT and SmackDown will move away from their networks, with NXT moving to the CW, while SmackDown will move from Fox to USA. Raw will remain on USA until the end of 2024, but will officially move to Netflix at the beginning of 2025. And finally, Damon Kemp has departed WWE. Earlier this week, NXT star Damon Kemp, real name Bobby Stevenson, confirmed that he was leaving WWE, and as such, he'll be available for independent bookings beginning on August 12. Kemp's exit from the company reportedly does not stem from a release, but rather WWE's decision not to renew his contract. With this element in mind, there now seems to be some uneasiness in the NXT locker room. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Kemp's departure has resulted in a feeling of nervousness in NXT, specifically for those facing the expiration of their respective WWE deals. Kemp, who joined WWE in 2021, reportedly garnered overall positive reviews for his in-ring work. Most recently saw him aligned with the No Quarter Catch crew. Despite this, the Wrestling Observer newsletter indicates that Kemp was not being positioned as a future star of the brand. As a result, many of those on a similar booking level have now begun questioning their own future in WWE, with worries that the company may eventually cut them as well. So what are your thoughts when it comes to the exit of Kemp from WWE? But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.